Hello everyone, Professor Halsey here, and today we're going to look at Module 2 of our stock tracking project. This week we're going to get started creating our classes that we need to work with our stock and history data. And these classes are going to be the foundation of our program. So it's important that they work and interact correctly with everything else. So to determine if they work correctly, we have what's called a unit test. So we're not only going to create the classes, but then we're going to test them using what's called a unit test. And I'll show you how that works here. I'm going to do this all in Replit here. And I'm not going to show you how to do the class diagram because that's shown in other videos and it will be covered during the live session. So this is just going to cover the Replit for 2 and 3 here, creating the classes and running the unit test. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get my Replit up and running. And this is what we need to create in our program. The classes is based on the information we're seeing here. So we have 3 variables, a list, and then a method inside of the stock class. And then we have another class called daily data, and that's going to hold 3 variables, the date, the close price, and the volume, or the number of shares traded. Okay, so they set that up in the UML diagram. We're going to skip that part that's in the other video as well. So here we're just going to cover creating the classes. Again, make sure that you have a CEIS1 folder, and we're inside of that folder we're going to create a program called stock_class.py, and I'm going to show you how to run that in Replit without calling it main. We're going to call it stock_class.py. Okay, here I am in Replit, and I'm in my CEIS150 folder, and here I want to add a file. And this file we're going to call this stock_class.py. And you see that's inside my CEIS150 folder. Then to open that document, I'm going to double click here on it, double click here on it. So now I'm in an empty file and I can begin my stock_class.py program. Another thing I want to do is right here on the files, I want to click this and show hidden files. Okay. And you'll see down here this config files and a .replit file. And we're going to click that and open it. Now, normally it runs main.py, but if I put in here and tell it to run CEIS150 and stock_class.py, then that's what it's going to run when I get ready to run it. All right, and that's based on the entry points. I'm going to copy that and put it down here as well. If you deployed it and it ran on its own, it'd need to be down here as well. It's not, so it's not a big deal right now, but we can leave that one or not. We do need the one at the top, though, to get it to run for us when we click run. All right, now that I've fixed that, I'm going to close it out. And it does save automatically. You didn't have to save it, so you should still see it there. Okay, so close it out and it updated automatically. All right, now in my stock class, we're going to start here with creating our the information that we need in our stock class. Okay, so let's look here. First, we want to make sure and put our name up here and the current date. All right, then our from date time, and actually that would have been a good one. Yep, imports, that's a comment, and then here from date time, import date time. Right, and then here we're creating our stock class, and you can see we started off with def init, and these are double underscores on both sides, underscore underscore init underscore underscore. All right, and then we list self as always first, and we'll get more into that as we go, but that's kind of the definition of a class, is the beginning or the self of it. Then we have the symbol, and you can see there the symbol, and the name, and the shares. And those are how we're going to set up those particular variables to work in that class. Then down here is where we'll set up data list as well, and that'll be a list of the daily stock data. Okay. Then the next thing we need to add is a method, and this method is going to add a day of price and volume history to the stock. So whatever comes in on the stock data, which the stock data would have actually it doesn't tell add the day of price and volume history. All right, and we're creating this add data here to allow us to take a piece of stock data that's passed to add data, and then it's going to append that to the end of our data list, which is the list of daily stock data. All right, yeah, doing real good here. But you're kind of seeing how to start defining a class, and you'll see why I love Replit. It's like, wait a minute, you got another class over here you want to create. It's called daily data. Somehow I know that. I love this stuff. And it probably knew that from the comment. And now we have our class, and I was waiting for it to pop this up because it's going to know that we had date. We didn't have open price. Let me hit, so self is always the first one. We had date, and then close price and volume. So I can get rid of these high price, low price, open price, and I just want close. And you could leave the price in there, but you'd have to remember to access it that way. And since we're writing as part of a team and we have to run a unit check, we can't do that. We've got to name it exactly what they tell us to name it here. So we have date, close, and volume, all three of our variables. And then just like we did up here, we'll set up self.symbol. Or I'm sorry, self.date is date. And my hands aren't working. But give me a break. I broke my right wrist August 29th last year. And I'm lucky just to be using my right wrist this year. And I was waiting for it. There it went. It populated. Oh. Try that again. Sometimes I miss the tab or hit it wrong. Or yes, you can always go back and fix that. All right, so now we have our date, our close, and our volume in there as well. And we are done with our creating the 2 classes that we need to create for this week. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, and they did give us an example here of an employee class and how they set that up. So if you wanted to look at that, you could as well. But here we're going to grab starting at unit test hashtag. So we need the hashtag in there, and grab everything from there up to the end where you see main, parentheses, open, parentheses, close. And we're going to copy all of that, Control C. And I'm going to come over here. This is the testing code that one of my colleagues sent me. And we don't change anything below that line. That's not our code. We don't, if something's wrong with that part of the code, we let them adjust it. In fact, they're 99% sure it works. Never 100, because you never know what goes on these days. But we're going to make sure that we can test what we're doing. And let me open this back up. We did. Make sure you come into Replit and make sure you had changed this so that it will run your program instead of main. Okay. All right, and now we're ready to give it a run and test it. So I'm going to close that back out and hit run. And I get no such file or directory. Why not? Hang on. Okay, so I did not quite have stock class inside of my CEIS150 folder. I guess it didn't make like I needed it to. So I could click it and drag it up like that and make sure and drop it in that folder. And then it ran for me. All right, so once I get this, I'm pretty much, that says I'm good. I got all my stuff done. So now we're going to upload or complete the deliverables so we can upload those and get our grade. Okay, so like I said, when we started, the class diagram is in the other video. This is just for the class code where we created our classes. So I'm going to delete this box here and get ready to drop my code in it. So let me come back to Replit, and I'm going to open this up so that I can see all of what's in here. And then I'm going to use my snipping tool so that I can get a nice, clean picture for my PowerPoint. You'll be able to read it. Even though we have to make it just a little bit smaller, you can still see my name there and be able to read it and the date. All right? Okay, and now they want the screenshot of the unit test, so I'm going to delete this box again. It really does mess with stuff and make it look ugly. And then I'm going back to my Replit. And again, I'm going to use my snipping tools so I get a nice, clean picture to add to my PowerPoint. All right, and once you get the UML diagram, then you're ready to submit this assignment. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it.